Welcome to the Deep Dive. We sift through the noise to bring you the core insights. Today, well, we're looking at something really interesting where culture and commerce kind of collide. You know, some things just get nicknames, and those nicknames become so common, everyone uses them like they're official. Think about the Pepsi watch. For years, anyone into watches knew exactly what that meant, usually a specific Rolex with that red and blue bezel. But now things have changed. That unofficial name, it's actually, believe it or not, official now. Yeah, the big news, and what we're diving into, is Seiko teaming up with Pepsi. Officially, they're releasing two genuine, officially named Pepsi watches, limited editions, the SSK047 and the SRPL99. So our mission here is to unpack why this is such a big deal, get into the details of the watches themselves, and figure out why this is, more than just your average product drop. It's pretty fascinating stuff, especially if you like seeing how these cultural things develop.
It really is. And what's fascinating is watching how these nicknames just, well, stick. In the watch world especially, we love giving names to things. You see it all the time with Rolex, with Seiko. And yeah, Pepsi almost always meant that Rolex GMT Master 2, the one with the red and blue. But the name also kind of bled over to other watches with similar colors, right? Like some older Seiko divers, maybe some Palladium ones, or the classic SKX models. People just started calling anything red and blue a Pepsi.
Okay, so it was already a thing, but making it official, how does that compare to, say, other brand tie-ins? I know our source material mentioned, for example, those Rolex watches they did at Domino's Pizza. The source wasn't too impressed, called them quite lame. Basically just giveaways for employees. But this Seiko and Pepsi thing, they're saying it has much more impact.
Yeah.
Why the difference?
Well, I think it boils down to what you said. The name Pepsi was already so deeply embedded in watch culture. It wasn't forced. It wasn't a marketing department idea initially. It came from the community, from collectors. It grew organically. So for Seiko and Pepsi to recognize that, to actually put the name on the watch officially, that validates the community's influence. It's powerful.
And Seiko, a Japanese company, they kind of scooped everyone by making it official first.
Exactly. They got it first, as the source puts it. Which is a pretty smart move, acknowledging the culture like that.
It really feels like a nod to the fans, doesn't it?
Yeah.
A name that's been used kind of affectionately for ages now has the official stamp of approval from the soda giant itself.
Yeah.
Our source sums it up pretty simply. It's kind of cool, period.
It is pretty cool.
But, playing devil's advocate for a second, is there any risk for a brand when they adopt a fan nickname? Does it box them in creatively? Maybe. Or annoy the purists who liked the unofficial rebellion of it?
That's actually a good point. There could be a slight risk, I suppose. Brands usually want full control over their image. But in this specific case, the Pepsi association was already so widespread and, frankly, pretty positive within the watch community. So the benefits of engaging directly with that, of showing they're listening, I think that probably outweighs any minor downsides. It builds goodwill, authenticity.
Yeah, absolutely. It feels like a genuine bridge between the fans and the brands. Okay, so let's get into the watches themselves. The Seiko 5 Sports X Pepsi collection. This is being called the first of its kind collaboration for Seiko 5 Sports, specifically with Pepsi.
That's right. So we're looking at two models. Both are limited editions, 7,000 pieces each, worldwide, so not super rare, but definitely limited. And they're built on existing popular Seiko 5 sports designs. They've got those classic red and blue colors, obviously mixed with either white or black, depending on the model.
And I love this detail, the packaging. They don't come in a standard watch box.
No, they come in these fun, sort of playful containers designed to look like Pepsi cans.
That's a great touch for collectors, isn't it? Adds to the whole experience.
Definitely enhances the theme. And for anyone wondering, they should be out around September 2025. Price-wise, the SSK047 is looking at EOR 540, and the SRPL99 is EOR 380.
Okay, let's break them down. First up, the SSK047. This is described as the more modern take.
Yeah, this one's based on the Seiko 5 Sports GMT platform that they launched back in 2022.
Right, the SKX-style GMTs.
Exactly. So it's got a 42.5 millimeter steel case, but this one has a black hard coating, gives it a sleeker, maybe more contemporary look. The whole vibe is inspired by the modern Pepsi can design, the current logo and all that.
And the bezel, still red and blue.
Of course. Blue and red bidirectional bezel, used for tracking that second time zone, which is the whole point of a GMT. And here's a neat detail. The bezel insert itself is actually transparent hardlex, Seiko's proprietary crystal material.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, the colors and the scale are printed underneath the hardlex. Gives it a bit of depth and protects the colors.
Smart. And the dial.
Classic Seiko 5 Sports layout, big luminous markers, easy to read. On this one, they're outlined in blue. You've got the distinct red 24-hour hand for the GMT function, and the modern Pepsi logo is right there at 6 o'clock on the dial.
Okay. What's powering it?
It's the automatic caliber 434. That's Seiko's movement with the integrated GMT function. It's what they call an office or collar GMT.
Got it. And the strap.
It comes on a Pepsi-branded silicone strap, which is actually noted as being the first time one of these SKX-style GMTs has come standard on silicone.
Another little first there.
Yep. And one more thing for the enthusiasts, the Pepsi logo is also printed on the see-through case back. A nice little Easter egg.
All right, cool. Let's switch gears to the second one, the SRPL99. This is the retro option.
Exactly. This one leans into a more vintage aesthetic. It's based on the smaller 38mm Seiko 5 sports models they brought out in 2023.
So a bit more compact.
Definitely. The case is plain stainless steel, no coating. Dimensions are about 38mm wide by 44mm lug to lug, so it wears quite nicely. Still has 100 meters of water resistance. This one has a unidirectional rotating bezel, more like a traditional diver, but with that blue and red metallic insert. And it comes on a standard 3-link brushed steel bracelet.
And the Pepsi connection here is more 90s.
Yeah, that's the idea. It's meant to evoke the Pepsi style from the 1990s, so you get the blue, red, and white color scheme, and the circular Pepsi logo from that era.
Where do we see that?
Most obviously on the dial, which is this cool silvery white color. The luminous markers and hands are outlined in blue. And then, bam, at 6 o'clock, there's the vintage Pepsi logo.
Nice.
And just like the other one, that same vintage logo is also printed on the transparent caseback. Consistency.
And the movement inside this one.
This uses the caliber 4R36. This is Seiko's workhorse automatic movement. Really reliable.
The standard day-date one. Right?
That's the one. Day-date function beats at 3 Hertz, which gives you that smooth seconds hand sweep and about a 41-hour power reserve. Tried and tested, like the source says, a very solid engine.
Okay, so pulling back a bit, we got these two distinct watches, one modern, one retro, both officially Pepsi branded. What does this all really mean for you listening? We talked about how this validates a nickname that's been around forever in the watch world. It's Seiko saying, yeah, we hear you, we see the culture.
Absolutely. And it goes beyond just watches, doesn't it? It touches on heritage. I mean, Pepsi, as the source points out, has been shaping culture globally for, over 120 years?
Yeah, a long time.
So for Seiko to tap into that specific cultural vein, especially one driven by the community itself,
Yeah.
it's pretty insightful. It shows an understanding of how these different worlds, soda branding, watch collecting, can actually overlap and influence each other.
It's that convergence of enthusiast groups.
Exactly. It's proof that informal community identity can actually become formal brand identity. It's quite a statement.
It really is. And that brings us towards the end of this deep dive. It's clear these Seiko watches are in a unique spot. They're right at that intersection of fan culture and official branding. Kind of a rare thing, and genuinely cool to see happen. So maybe here's something to chew on after this. We've seen how powerful a nickname created by fans can become, powerful enough to be officially adopted. What other unofficial fan-made names for iconic products out there do you think might get the official treatment someday? It really makes you think about how much communities shape the brands they love, doesn't it? Something to ponder.